Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? It's your girl Jamila Nunez, and I'm your host for our special series called Being Black. In this podcast series, we are going over Black owners, Black businesses, Black artists, Black community members, anything Black, anyone Black, any being Black, all in San Diego, just to speak our truths, our experiences, our opinions, and our perspective in regards to the local San Diego community, but also in regards to today's society. So if you like what you hear, please share each episode, which one you like the most, whatever you'd like. And if you feel like you want to interview and get your voice out there, please reach out to us. All of our information will be in each episode detail. And yes, hope you enjoy. Thank you. Hey.
It's cracking, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. How are you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm grand. I can't complain.
That's good. That's good. That's good to hear. Thank you for, being available to do this podcast interview for our new series. I'm super excited to just learn about, people in our community. I know you. So just trying to get other people to understand and know you as well. And just to, support our local Black community is just what I'm here for. So
I,
thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Ah! Okay. So before we dive in, I kind of just want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you identify yourself in society, all those good stuff, your name, what you do, blase, blase.
I say, let's see. My name is Rashad. Also go by Shadi. My artist name is Esper Revu. I'm from. I'm a veteran. I did my time in the Navy. 8 years. Um, I mean, let's see. I'm a chill dude. I like to say, I speak for mental health and mindfulness. The more and more I go on my journey and learn about myself and learn about, just the world as a whole is hurting, and we all need some healing, but it starts with myself. And
Mm-hmm.
once I can do that within myself, I can reflect in that upon the masses.
Yep. Okay, nice. So, with that being said, so how do you identify yourself in today's society? What do you claim your identity as, if you do claim an identity?
I mean, I'm a male. uh, that's an interesting question. I ain't never really been asked that, honestly.
Yep, this is what we're here for. This is why we're
So,
trying to selves and view themselves.
I mean, like I said, I'm a male. I'm a king, uh, a god at times. I'm just,
Okay, I'm
just a
here for
guy
it.
standing up for the little things.
I love it. I'm here for it. It's all good. Okay, so let's just, really dive into, the questions and just really, understanding your point of view and your perspective on life. With that being said, what's your story? Like, what was your upbringing like your childhood, household, education?
Um, my upbringing was pretty interesting. I do have both my parents.
Mm-hmm.
They just weren't in the same household. So,
Mm-hmm.
I lived with moms majority of my younger childhood days in Oakland, and then kind of being raised by my great grandma and my aunties and my uncles, because mom's is always at work. You feel me? Got
Mm-hmm.
to do what she got to do to take care of us. And then I would go to my dad's house for the summer to kind of get that discipline and structure. So I would always go out there and kind of learn some things, or my dad would teach me a little bit, how to be more disciplined in
Mm-hmm.
life. Um, and so I would kind of bring that back home to Oakland and kind of engaged at like in my gang life, I would say, and in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to public school. Interesting. I had to take the public bus. Going to the sixth grade. I always found that pretty weird.
That's interesting.
But yeah, but that's where I actually learned how to shoot dice in the
Okay.
on the back of a bus by my homegirl named Stephanie.
Hey, shout out to Stephanie.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool. I like that though. So like, so you said that you grew up with your mom, raised with your mom and your great grandmother, aunties, and uncles, and everything in Oakland, and then you would shoot down here. Is you said like San Diego or is it
Oh,
L.A. area?
Bakersfield. My bad.
Bakersfield. Okay.
Bakers.
All right. So you shoot down here to be with your father to get some discipline. What is one thing that you took away from your father that you still hold dearly today?
Oh, don't lie.
Mm. That's a real one.
Don't lie. Whatever you do, we gonna figure it out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but just be honest with me. But don't lie to me, because once you lie to me, I can't help you. And then whatever you say to me is not really valid because I have to do more investigation. So ever since my
Mm-hmm.
pops told me that, because I lied about a situation,
Mm-hmm.
I've always held that kind of dearly. Now to where it's like now how I live life now, where I don't lie to myself anymore
Mm-hmm.
because of how much damage I was doing to me and to the people around me and to the people that I love. So that's something, yeah, I cherish.
I can understand it and I can respect that fully. And so, what were the differences, growing up from Oakland and then, going to Bakersfield? Like, what is one thing that you feel kind of like shifted you or helped you or, hindered you? Like, is there
Hmm.
anything in comparison between the two for you?
Um, I would say I learned more of my street knowledge and more of my um way of just the way I see life from Oakland. Just
Mm-hmm.
the way I had to maneuver. Just because like I said, mom was always at work, so that means I'm at home. So I would usually just walk to my auntie's house, which is my hood, or I would just be in the neighborhood just doing random street shit. Um, so I'm learning as just as a young little kid because that's what my cousins was doing. So that's what I was seeing. I was around,
Mm-hmm.
but we were also being guided to like nah, this ain't really what we gonna grow up to be. It's we understand this is the environment right now and the time being, but this ain't we basically just seeing it as we ain't making this as a career.
Mm-hmm.
So so then when I got to Bakersfield, I'm around way more gang stuff, more like Crips and Bloods, and so I was able to stay away from all of that just because of what I've already was learning, what I was already involved with in Oakland. So I would say because of me being involved, what I was involved in Oakland kept me away from the Crip and Blood life in Bakersfield, which a lot of my friends been killed in. So I would say it was a balance.
Mm. Okay. That's good. That's really good to hear to know that you're able to learn from one place and not bring that life or, it protected you and shielded you from a different life that could have, ultimately led to you possibly not being here anymore, you know? Um, so that's really good to hear to know that you're able to apply those changes, moving back and forth from those communities. So with that, it's like, do you feel like the environment, both environments, I would say, made you change or suppress who you are in any kind of way, or do you feel like you were, authentically yourself, given the young age that you were learning these things as well?
I would say it's a mixture of all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always I've always just been around it, so that's just how I don't say my DNA is, but I just know how to, just be in it. But also it, like I said, it showed me a different side to where it's just like, all right, I know this is not the end game. Like, I definitely know this is not what I want to do for 20 some years. You
Yeah.
feel me? So to where it motivated me to where I wanted to be, beyond, my neighborhood. And that's where I was inspired by Nipsey Hussle a lot, just because of what I was seeing, what he was kind of doing with his neighborhood, to where it inspired me to where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna show the good side of what my neighborhood is for. Not, not. I don't want to highlight the bad, because that's what everybody does. They always want to highlight and glorify the bad part. It's just like, nah. Let me show the good part
You
of
know what I'm
what
saying?
what my hood made of, made me into. So to where that's where I was able to take it with me into the Navy, to where I tell people I've took my neighborhood to 8 different countries, and in a positive light. So
Okay, that's nice. I like that. I like that you're able to say that you were wanting to highlight, the positive over the negative. You didn't want to focus on the negative and every broadcast at this and that and the third. So I really like that, and I respect and appreciate that. So along the lines of being, in SoCal and Bakersfield, you're currently living in San Diego, correct? How long
yes,
have you been here?
I've been in San Diego since 2012.
Okay, so pretty much 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and so what are your thoughts about San Diego?
Oh man, I love here. I mean, I always tell people it's a beautiful place.
Hmm.
Um, but it can be expensive, but it all just depends on what you do with your resources. You feel me?
Hmm.
Everything. I always tell people there's a loophole to everything. You just gotta be in the loop. You feel me? It's
Hmm.
the fact that I've been out here for 10 years, and even at a point at that time I was homeless. I was still able to manage my well being while still being out here. This is a good place to retire and vacate,
Hmm.
but it's just all what you make what you make of it. But
Okay.
I love it. I love it here.
Yes, we love San Diego. um, so what brought you to San Diego then?
Well, the Navy.
Okay.
I didn't want to get out the Navy on the East Coast, so I said can I go back home to Cali somehow? You feel me?
Hmm.
So they told me I had to make rank and not get married, and I had no kids, which I was already was in the process of having a kid when they proposed that to me, but they didn't need to know all that. And I wasn't getting married, and so I made rank, and I was able to come back to San Diego, and come to Cali, and I was able to get San Diego, and I've just been out here ever since. And my youngest son lives out here, so
That's nice. Yay. Okay, so you have a son in San Diego and you are constantly in his life, correct? Me being your friend, I already know this.
yes.
But for our audience, that's good to know that you have a young king out here as well. Is he your only child?
No, he is my youngest. I have three kings.
Mm-hmm.
Two 10-year-olds. No, they're not twins. They're just 2 months
Yeah.
apart. And my oldest, he lives in South Carolina, and then my second oldest, he lives in Portsmouth, Virginia,
Okay.
and then RJ, he stay out here, and they
Yeah.
go.
And they go. Nice. Okay, so being, saying that, you wanted to come back home to California and then you got based here, in San Diego, and it was more ideal for you to just be back home. And you stated that this is a good place to retire. It's really beautiful, and being a military city or converting into a military city, I would say. Um, how do you feel being a black man in San Diego? Do you feel like is there any difference? Like being that you've explored different states and cities and most likely countries, um, how do you feel being a black man in San Diego?
Dang. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Honestly, um, now that I'm kind of out, I kind of been able to sit and really realize and kind of sit back and see things. And I wasn't treated as, I wasn't treated the way I'm treated now. Back when I was in the military, and I think it's just more so it's like it's a fad now. Like it's I don't even know how to put it in words, but I see it more so as a attention grabber.
Mm.
Like like a lot of people are doing a lot of things intentionally just for attention. Back when, like I said, I didn't really start dealing with racism until I got out the military. You feel? I was actually just having this conversation the other day, and I was like, I just found that very interesting because I was like, I've been to very many different countries. You feel me? And I got treated with way more respect, and I got treated better than there than I do, here in my own country.
Mm-hmm.
So I always just find that interesting. But it's just I've always been treated, with respect, even in certain situations where I have kind of felt the racism in the room, but ultimately out of respect, you feel me? I've always been treated that way. It's just like I said, once I've got out, that's when I kind of just started experiencing more, just because how much it's highlighted in our everyday society and the news, and it's just everything is connected to racism now.
Yeah. Okay. And so you stated that like you went to different countries and you were treated with more respect, and it wasn't until you got out of the military that you started experiencing more racism. Do you think that your military title kind of shielded and protected you from that racism, and they felt like because you're serving America that they have to show you respect because you're serving, not necessarily because you're a black man serving, like I don't know if that makes sense in that question, but
No, it do.
okay.
No, because even then, a lot of people didn't even know I was in the military because
Mm,
I didn't carry myself that way. Even when um, I didn't wear my uniform to work. You feel me? I was never that. I was always just got to work super early, and I would just change at work.
mm-hmm,
When people asked me, I was like, "No, I'm a college student." I wouldn't really tell people that I was affiliated with the military because it wanted to make you a target. So
mm,
that was always for me to protect my who what I was what I was defending. Um, so I never really told people I was in the military. So again, I would still get treated with the respect.
right.
And then again, it's just like now because it's just like once they saw my military ID, their whole conversation would change in certain
Mm,
situations. Just like now when they see my veteran ID, it's the same thing. So it's just like I'm not nothing really changed. It's just now the like I said, the society we live in now is just a little bit more different.
that's
Um,
that's interesting that you say that because like I want to talk about that where it's like that's it's I think it's part of an experience being a black man, and I want to say let's talk about San Diego right now, being a black man in San Diego when you came here and you had your your card, your IDs that kind of you know put you in a different position once they found out who you were or what you did for work. So what can you want to tell us an experience that you've had where like you've that change happened, like you say you were just talking with someone on a friendly level or like you were arguing with someone, like give us an experience where your military title may have saved you and or put you in jeopardy.
all right. For example, um, I would give you two examples. One where it saved me, and then one where it put me in jeopardy. So one
Okay.
where it saved me, where an incident where the cops was called on me. You feel me? Um, and you know the argument was, my son was in endangerment. So they came in and they seen my son wasn't in danger. And after having a conversation with me, they asked me what I did. They seen I was in the military, and they asked me what I did. I was like, "Oh, I'm a corpsman." And I was like, "Oh, that's nice. You basically do medical stuff." And I was like, "Yeah." And so because of me having these conversations and them I guess having experience with people in the military, and having family members in the military, we had a connections to where they had a mutual understanding to why the phone call was being made, to where now when this person came to my house, it didn't go in their favor. They was asked to leave. You feel me? So and then, these were white cops. You feel me? Um, so like I said, me experiencing that situation, I was just like, damn, that could have been a whole different situation if I wasn't in the military. You feel me? I always think about that.
Mm-hmm.
So always, I'm always grateful for it, because like I said, it did protect me in that manner. But on the flip side, where it hindered me, where um, someone I was really close to, that I considered a family member, called my my chain of command and basically lied on me and said, I pushed him down some stairs, um, to where they basically, the military put a restraining order on me,
Mm-hmm.
saying that I couldn't go to my own house, and this allowed this person to basically rob me, take everything out of my house, and and yeah, and I was left stuck with the rent and the bill, and I couldn't do nothing about it. You feel me?
Wow.
All because of this military order that they put on me, saying that they were protecting me as a sailor. Blah blah. I was like, how are you protecting me when you just put me in a worse situation? But there was nothing I can do about that situation. I had to chalk that up as a loss, but it also tainted a lot of relationships that I have with people, to this day. So yeah, so it's a gift and a curse at times.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. It's just I'd love to put some of these, stories out here so that people understand that there's different experiences, all over, and so to hear yours, like I wouldn't have thought a family member would have just done that, so that's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild as hell. Um, okay, so thank you for sharing that. I really do appreciate it. Going back to like San Diego, do you feel safe in San Diego? Do you think there should be changes or improvements in San Diego? What would you like to see in San Diego? Like talk to me.
Oh man. I mean, I always feel careful where I go. Safes get broken into, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
really like to say I'm safe. Um, but no, it's always a good feeling. But there's always changes that can happen. I would definitely say the homeless scene can definitely be worked on out
Mm-hmm.
here. I personally don't feel like they do enough, especially all the money that's being raised and all the advertisement that they do about homelessness, but they don't really do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of treat the people out there like they're foreign, or they don't belong here on this planet. Where at the end of the day, we all the same.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? It's just everyone has their own situation. Some people are at peace at just being homeless because they enjoy the freeness. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But it all just takes with a conversation. That's what a lot of people just don't like to have. Um, and then also with mental health, you feel me? Because those two kind of go hand in hand. A lot of people who are homeless do deal with mental health issues, and the fact
Mm-hmm.
that they don't seek the help that they need is because of how they've been treated. They always just say, at 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 a point, it's just like, what's the point? Because they always just treat us the same. These are conversations I've had with other homeless veterans who deal with mental health issues. Like at the end of the day, I just get tired of just hearing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stopped. He's like, I just stopped reaching out, and I was like, I get it. It's understandable because going through my own experience, I told this to my doctor a few weeks ago. I was like, the worst thing you could tell a mental health patient is they have to wait.
Mm.
Like that makes no
That,
sense, bro.
that makes no sense at all. Ooh, tough, tough, tough pills to swallow, and people don't really acknowledge and understand. So in regards to mental health now, as a black man, what are your views on mental health in today's society?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
mm. It is. It needs some work. I'm not going to even say the word I was gonna say. It needs some work out here. You feel me? It's not even words can't even explain how misleading and misguiding everything around the mental health field, and then the mental health as a black man in this society. You feel me? It's a everyday struggle. The fact that you know me leaving this house, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Someone can just have it be because someone doesn't know how to deal with their mental health issues or their true feelings. I got to deal with that. And then the fact that me being a little bit darker, I gotta I have to really deal with that and be told get over it.
Mm.
Like what? Make it make sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just it's a question that's always being asked, but at times I feel like a lot of people are just not really listening because it's just like at the end of the day, I always just tell this to my friends or just people in general. Now, if you've never read the Willie Lynch letter, you have no idea what racism is. You have no idea what a black man or just being black in general is like because what's in that letter is still being practiced to this day. It's just elevated. So
Mm.
if people really want to understand what we have to go through, if they really want to figure out a situation or a solution, read that letter. Read
Mm.
that letter to your kids. Read that letter. You feel me? And then we can have that conversation. But until then, you feel me? A lot of people they just want to give their opinion again for the attention. It's all for the attention. They just want to have a little 2 cent to see if they little 2 cent is gonna make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it can get a little attention. So they can just say, "Oh, yeah, I was a part of this conversation or this topic."
Mm-hmm. I feel that. Um. So, what are you cope with everyday struggles based on the way you were taught growing up? Is it something you learned from the media or schooling? Like, what are some of your coping mechanisms?
Um, it's always been art, but it hasn't really, now it's an everyday thing to where it's like I understand the true powers of it. That didn't really surface until I got out. But before then, I was kind of just coping with things a traditional way, the way I seen people around me coping with things. Drinking, um, going to the gym, treating women a certain way. Just I was just basically being a product of my environment. Um, just being, like I said, coping with the way of things I was always just taught. Um, it wasn't until the military, after my first real breakup in a relationship, I was engaged, that pushed me on a journey of kind of finding like more about self love. And that's when I really learned about how to properly cope with things and learned that I was coping with things improperly.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah, now, like I said, now it's just art. Now, everything that I'm feeling, expressing, or if I feel like I have a problem that I know needs to be heard, I just put it in my art. I just put it in an art form because that way it just speaks for itself. That way I don't have to uncomfortably speak it out, out loud until it's asked about in art form.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Before we dive, deeper into topics, I just want to kind of ask, what do you think your purpose or mission is in life? Um, just with your experiences as a black man, what do you do? What's your purpose? What do you feel like your mission is?
Now uh, that I'm 32, I actually kind of had this revelation the other day, just sitting with myself. I feel like for sure my purpose is like I said earlier, is just sticking up for the little things, and that plays a big part within just being black in general. It's just the little things, attention to detail. It's just always the small things that people, look over and miss that will play a big factor. So the way I'm able to stand up for the little things, the way I'm able to articulate how the little things are overlooked and how, the little things really feel, I feel like that's my main purpose. And the way I'm able to do it, especially in art, um, is to just continue to stand up for the little things and continue to on this path of mindfulness, because I am teaching, even if I'm not physically talking, with individuals, by just me performing, and my actions is still teaching, and that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning, and that's what I've seen.
Okay, so when you say little things, can you kind of define and go into detail about what you mean by little things?
Um, Little things, for example, like what I was talking about, the Willie Lynch letter. That's something little. That's a little thing that a lot of people don't think of or talk about. But if the masses was to read that, that would change their whole perspective of how they were always seeing racism, and how it would show them exactly the extremes that people really went to go to harm innocent, you know, people because of their color. Understanding is something little. A lot of people don't understand. They assume they do, but if you really understand something, it shows in your actions. It changes your whole behavior. You see what I'm saying? So that's something. That's a little thing, I guess you can say, in a sense, in my
Okay.
definition. It's like little
Okay,
things like that.
that makes sense. So how can you use, so you're saying that your purpose is to, you know, for me personally, I'm trying to understand, just like, how can you use that to serve your purpose, and what are the actions you're going to do to make sure that this mission is accomplished, in the community, and to create a better pavement for the future generations.
It's just more so of manifesting and really just doing. So everything that comes to me creatively comes to me creative, for a reason, for a purpose. What I'm learning is not every, if we really have to get it done, we have to do it ourselves. So a lot of these things that I, you know, come into light with, knowing that they would change a lot of things in life, it's really on me to do it. But by me making that happen, I have to do the little things, as practicing every day, as doing, structuring the plan of making it happen in every day. That's what I kind of mean by doing like the little things, and by me just continue to um, to continue to explore my imagination, is me fulfilling that purpose of standing up for the little things, because of how much details that plays a big part in all this. Someone has, like I say, has to pay attention to the small details, and the way I'm able to do that, I don't know how. Like, I'm able to bring a lot of things together in an art form, like in a picture. I'm like, damn, I didn't realize I put that together, this piece together, that piece together, and they made this beautiful masterpiece.
Okay, I hear it. I hear it. So, with that being said, then, what do you think your contribution is for the future generations, and what are you currently doing to provide for the future generations?
Um, for I would say to continue to speak highly in about therapy, how therapy should be a mandatory thing. You should really be doing way more therapy than you should be doing work. So by me kind of creating little things, within my power, my art form to kind of give to people for free, as a therapy form. Like here's some therapy art. It's like a little basic, like a little pack. I ain't gonna say a big package, but like a little package has like therapeutic things. That's art. That's art form, and comes with a little note and kind of explains, which each thing or which each message is for to help, whatever you're dealing with in your everyday life. So I feel like, just by me continuing to make that aware that I know everybody's going through something. I know at a time we really want to have someone to talk to, but the reality is time we don't. I just want to show people that someone is aware of all this. And if it takes for me to, like I said, just to give out some of my art for free to make it happen, that's what I got to do to get the message across, to show that, someone is listening. Someone does understand what you're going through, because they're going through the same thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. And so, with you handing these out to, to people for free, um, like how can you ensure that this contribution and what you're doing follows through even when you say you're not here anymore? Like, what are things that you hope to do, plan to do, want to do in order to know that the future generations have this access to your art? Like, what are you doing currently to open this up to our community, not just in San Diego, but all through California, all through, the states?
Um, well, eventually, I want to, buy a building or property and then kind of have a whole um, structure, maybe I ain't gonna say a school, but a building where people can just come learn. They want to learn, different art things, or just learn just different things just in life in general. Um, or another, I just want to have another space where people just want to come in, meditate, or just just sit and do nothing. Like I have a whole plan and a whole list, but like it always just starts with me just continuing to create the art. Um, my art pal is probably be the best form for right now, because that's globally, and
Mm-hmm.
I post I post on that daily with all my art. Only thing is I just have to start adding like the messages to the art pieces. So it's just like now, even when I'm gone, that's something that's always going to be there. People can always go to it, look at it, look at the art piece, and see what the message was at the in the description. And if they want to buy they can buy it. If not, they can always just look at it. But it'll always be there to remind them. Um, but like I said, I'm working on other thing I just can't speak on, because like I said, I gotta do the work first. I gotta manifest by just
Gotcha.
doing the
Gotcha.
work. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you. I understand doing the work is very important. Having a plan and structure and making sure that what you want is actually aligning with what you're supposed to be doing, and then also taking the action. A lot of people aren't aware of how hard and challenging it is to own a business or have a program and wanting it to succeed with all
Mm-hmm.
the doubt in the world as well. So making sure that you have a structure and making sure that it follows through is very, very important. But also allowing and understanding that structures change based on the individual, based on everyday life, and based on the community. So
Yeah.
keeping that aligned in mind is very, very important. So I appreciate you just laying down that little simple fact as well. Um, are there any upcoming events or resources you feel like people should know about or should attend? You know, anything that
Um,
putting together?
not really. See, because I ain't really been having my streets, my ears to the streets lately. I kind of just been in my own bubble, just
Mm-hmm.
creating, and yeah, just been creating. Only just because it's distracting me from my purpose, what I got to do. But yeah, no, I have it. If I do, I'll let you know. But
No.
not right now. I don't have any.
Do
I
you
don't have
have any
any.
like people that people that you feel like, you know, even Instagram or people, you know, are there any resources or people that you
Oh
want to
yeah,
list to
yeah,
give out so people can reach out to them, follow for education,
yeah.
you know,
Actually,
whatever
yeah.
reason?
My cousin. Yeah, Creation of Society. That's, I mean, yeah, www.creationofsociety.com is the
Mm-hmm.
website. Right now, we actually got a Black Wall Street package.
Mm-hmm.
We it's for purchase. You know, it comes with I believe the moringa sea moss peels. I believe some shirts, um, some moringa oil, some toothpaste. You know, moringa toothpaste.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's something else. I think some art for me is in there too.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I need to order my own package. I ain't even
Yeah,
got one
see, this
yet,
is
but let's
sometimes the
see.
messages might be for the other people, but
Yeah,
also
yeah,
it could be for yourself.
yeah, man. Creation of society for sure. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And Go Ahead Radio. You know, they always, yeah, that's someone. They always got some events. They always tapped in with the community and resources because they always trying to get me to do something. But like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I be in my own little bubble. But yeah, Go Ahead Radio is another um, source to tap
Okay.
into.
All right. And then do you know of any other businesses, maybe black owned, maybe, you know, colored owned, in San Diego that you've, you know, have experienced and feel people should check out? You know, besides these two.
Hold on, look. Irie Life and in the Plaza Bonito Mall. He's a reggae shop.
Okay.
Yeah, he got the crystals in there. He got a whole bunch of stuff in there. Me and him was having a conversation because you know his son has autistic superpowers,
Mm-hmm.
just like mine does. So that's what we was having a conversation, and then we started talking about art, and I told him I did art, and we exchanged business cards. But yeah, his shop is a nice little shop. People should go
Okay.
check
Perfect.
out. Got the nice little gear in there too. You feel me?
Hey, like I asked for the community too, but I need to know these things. So, because I'm here for I'm trying to reestablish my roots down in here in San Diego. It's only been a
Yeah.
little over a year now, so I'm really trying to tap back in with our people and just making sure we unify as one. Um, but yeah, thank you for that. Much appreciated. Last but not least, given everything we discussed, what is one thing you want to say to the people listening, whether it's affirmations, words of encouragement, advice, blase?
Oh man. Um, One thing I would say is just be mindful, people. Everybody just be mindful. We want someone to be mindful of, of our situation, our life.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta do the same. Be mindful of other people's situation in their life. That's what yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That it's as simple as that. Being mindful. Um, that just pretty much wraps up our interview. And I really want to appreciate you and thank you so much for paving the time to interview with me. I wish Nicole was here, but we have other obligations at times with life. So thank you for working this out with me.
Oh, no
And
problem.
if you need anything, if you know anybody that we should interview as well, please reach out to us and we will do our best to schedule that in. Um, but yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. God. Um, you guys have a blessed day, and
Oh
we
man.
will speak to you soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay blessed and stay beautiful.
yeah. All right. Peace.
Deuces.